suppliers, because they make products that are basically products also made internally for some times. Now, for new products, they follow the same process internally the R&D follows, which is through the raw material center. If they want, and they will, right, develop a line extension or a new product, they would have to go through the raw material center, use one of the existing suppliers for that, using existing materials for that. And again, if there is an exception, they'll follow the same process. They'll come back and say, well, there's an exception here for this particular moisturizer, because I think this ingredient would add that, or this is a new kind of scent that would go with a new ingredient that we don't have it. So they would follow exactly the same process as the internal process. This is because the nature of the relationship is different. It's a full transparency relationship. It's almost like treating the entire, as I said, the entire landscape as one single landscape. And it works from a product development as well. Now, there are a few exceptions where sometimes, and this is happening now more recently, because they, with the time to develop their capabilities and product development, there are a few occasions where they have an innovation, which is something coming from them, right, and where they believe it's something they can add something to the business. They would come to a company like J&J and offer that innovation. And therefore, we need to follow the process, but sometimes that innovation, if it's really a substantial innovation, we have to go through the process, but will be probably eventually approved with different ingredients. And so it depends on the case. But virtually, the way we manage the CDMO network leads to all processes, including product development, through the raw material center, being the same as is internal. I was trying to be very high level. Of course, I can get into more details if you wish on that. But basically, and again, this is different. I recognize it's different from other companies, at least based on the benchmark we did, right? I just know that other companies are trying to follow that process, which is, I think, is the ideal, and I think is the benchmark.
So you have full transparency. You let your partner contract manufacturers like KDC and Friva know who your existing chemical suppliers are and what existing raw materials you utilize. Correct.
For the products they make, right? Only for the products they make. And the products they make is not by just an accident, right? There's a whole supply strategy that precedes that, where we assign products to not only to CDMOs, we assign products to specific sites in their CDMOs. Like KIK has 4 or 5 different manufacturing sites, right? So, and we assign, there's a process in J&J, which is the supply governance process, that assigns every single product, existing and new, to a specific site, internal or external, regardless, based on the capabilities of the site. So if you have a site that is capable to do quick runs, more complex formulas, small batches, deal with innovation, a number of different ingredients, more complex formulas, that's one kind of set of skills. You have, on the other hand, sites which are high volume sites that don't cope well with innovation or changeovers, but highly efficient sites. Normally are higher volume sites. So there's a different kind of characteristics, so this kind of skill set. So products, that, as an example, a beauty product will go to the first site, and a hair care product eventually go to the second kind of site. And there are other characteristics that can go on and on here. But just to give you an example how it is. And for those products that are allocated to that specific site, they have transparency because they use virtually. And not when I say they use the raw materials, and the suppliers, doesn't mean necessarily that we buy or J&J buys for them. Sometimes they go and buy directly, and it's a pure buy model, and there are different kind of models, commercially speaking. But basically they use the same. And they need to follow the internal process through the raw material center I was talking about.
Got it. Okay. Good. We've got just a few minutes left. It's been very helpful. Any other burning questions? And then we will confer after this and see if there's any follow-up need we have, and I'll work that back with you.